Today, I want to talk to you about something that could possibly be the most important thing of your entire life. A decision, a choice that can change your entire life forever. And I'm not joking. How could something be that important? When you look back on your life in the future and you're dying, and you look back on your days and how you spent your time, the people you spent your time with, what you did with your days over and over and over and over and over, how much good karma will you have done? How high, how full will your karmic bank account be? How much blessings are you going to take with you into the future? And more importantly, how much did you enjoy being alive? And what did you leave behind? It's a really important question to ask, because what you do today affects your destiny. Every single thought we think, every single word we say, every single action we do has an effect on our future. Not a single thing goes unaccounted for in this universe, in the law of karma, the law of dharma. We live in an amazing universe that responds to us, and the only security we have, the only thing we can rely on, is our karma. You are your karma. Your life is your karma. What you do every day, what I do every day, what all of us do every day, over and over and over, is our karma. And based on that, we either create fortune and blessings and abundance and wealth and wonder and happiness and peace of mind that's going to always be there for us if we keep doing good karma. Or if we live out of alignment with karma, with dharma, we create negative karma, we take, we abuse, we go against the laws of nature, then we get what we're seeing in the world right now, which is debt, disease, wars, people are stressed, emotional bankruptcy, emotional strain, relationships are falling apart. The reason the world is in such a mess, it's not some mysterious thing, it's because we've been living out of alignment with Dharma. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because I personally have had a huge amount of suffering in my own life. I've been extremely depressed. I've been doing stuff that I hated. I remember working in jobs, just doing like nastiest jobs for the tiniest amount of money. I remember being addicted to cannabis, being addicted to other drugs, just wanting to escape the world. I think that's why most people do drugs. That's why there's so much drugs around. I mean, drugs are everywhere, Drugs and alcohol. Distraction, distraction, distraction. Why do we want to escape our lives? Why do we want to watch Netflix? Why do we want to drink wine? Why do we want to smoke cannabis? Why do we want to go to parties and jump around and try and get out of it? Why do we need all these distracting things? Why do we need our iPhone all the time? Why do we need music all the time? Why can't we stop checking our emails? Why do we have to be on Facebook? What's going on here, really? Come on, let's just be honest. We're trying to escape something. We're trying to escape ourselves. We're trying to avoid the pain that's in here. I'm very grateful that I've spent years and years and years meditating and actually getting up early in the morning and looking at myself. It's been very painful a lot of the time because I've sat there very early in the morning when it's dark and there's no noise around, and I've had to face my demons. I've had to face the emptiness in my heart. I've had to face that hole inside of me. I've had to face my addictions and all these weird noises in my head and all my fears and guilt and shame and the things that I did wrong. I've sat there and I've faced it, and I keep facing it, and sometimes I don't want to get up in the morning and face myself. I'd rather distract myself. I wish, I'd rather just drink wine and forget about it and watch a movie and pretend there's nothing going on. But I can't do that because I've tapped in. I've had loads of peak experiences where I've just experienced the wonder of life, the bliss of life. And the reason I've changed in my life from being in these dead-end jobs, a drug addict in dead-end jobs, and now I live in Hawaii teaching about spirituality and Dharma and consciousness. Why am I here? Because I've had a good look and I made a choice and I made a change, and I've now attracted a completely new reality. I could have just carried on distracting myself, but I didn't. And reason I didn't is because I learned a very important lesson that I want you to know about. I don't normally share these things. These are very deep personal things. I learned that ultimately the only security I have in life, it's not in my bank account, it's not in my relationships, it's not in my work. My only security is in my relationship with the divine and my karma. It's that spiritual connection that fills the soul. And my karma. The only thing that protects me is my karma. The only thing that blesses me is my karma, or curses me. Whatever happens in the future is completely my personal karma. And whatever happens to you, your only security is your karma. So we have to ask ourselves, how full is our karmic balance? How much good karma do we have in our karmic bank account? How much bad karma, negative karma do we have? How many painful lessons do we need to learn to change? Because when we feel bad in ourselves, when we feel something's wrong, when we feel that feeling inside of us, something's not right, we can listen to it. It's a message from the universe to say, something's wrong, change it, Most of us don't listen to that little voice, that little feeling. We ignore it. So it gets bigger. And it becomes a big feeling. And then we ignore it again. And then we start hearing other people telling us, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And we hear it from other people. Then, if we don't listen to it, we start losing money, or we start having physical accidents. We start actually falling down, hurting ourselves, feeling sick, being depressed, not being able to get out of bed, getting sick in various different ways, maybe getting a disease, some sort of cancer or tumor or something. It gets more and more severe. Might start with a headache and end up as cancer, right? Then start losing money, start losing relationships, start losing everything. And gradually, it gets worse and worse and worse till we have nothing left. And then, finally, if it gets down to the point where we're bleeding to death on the ground, then we'll say, okay, fine, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to be aligned with truth, with Dharma, with myself. The question is, how much are we going to go along this scale? Are we going to listen to those little voices inside of us, something's wrong, I need to change it? Or are we going to have to wait for hearing it from other people, losing money, getting physical accidents, losing our jobs, losing our cash flow, losing our health, getting a disease, being in constant mental distress, being attacked by our own mind, being eaten up by our own thoughts? How far does it have to go? People don't like to talk about this stuff. People would much rather be on Facebook, watching a movie, getting drunk, going to a party. It's much more appealing to the ego to just distract. Everything's fine. Let's get the iPhone out, send a few text messages, get on the phone. But we've got this big hole in our hearts, and if we don't deal with it, and if we don't change our lives, our karmic bank account, negative karmic bank account, is going to be very big. Lots of lessons to learn through suffering, is what that means. Our positive karma, good things coming to us, blessings, support, is going to be very small. And we're going to be going through what a lot of other people are in the world, losing all sorts of things, getting smacked and crushed and beaten and attacked, right? And I don't want to say this to sort of freak you out. I'm actually saying this because I want you to avoid this situation. I realized this a long time ago. It woke me up, it shook me up, it made me realize, what am I doing? I can't get away with just pretending I can get away with things. I can't get away with it. I've become very sensitive to what's going on for me. And if it's not aligned, I can't do it. The reason I live a different life from most people is because I've realized what the hell is going on here, and I'm very, very careful about who I spend my time with and what I do with my time and where my energy goes, where my money goes, and where what is happening on all levels of my life. I'm aware of how sensitive the times are, how crazy things are, and what's going on. And I want you to also be aware of this, to save yourself having to have all kinds of terrible experiences to teach you lessons. Because we learn two ways. We either learn through wisdom, spiritual wisdom, making a decision, we hear that voice and we change, or we get punished from our own selves. We have to learn through pain, It's our own pain coming back to us, yeah? It's not someone else's fault. This is something we did. We get the message, okay, we'll learn. So the question is, how soon can we learn the lessons we need to learn in life? Do we need to wait for the smack, for the car crash, for the accident, for the death, for the disease, for the bankruptcy? Or can we learn the lesson today by tuning into our hearts and really feeling, okay, something's going to have to change. I'm going to have to make that change today. Align with karma. Change how I think, what I do, who I spend my time with, where I invest my money. Yeah, it's on all levels. What are the changes I need to make to align with my own dharma so that I can move into the direction of having pure, good karma that's going to keep coming back to me? And in order to do this, we need to understand what dharma is. What is dharma? What are the laws of the universe? We do live in a universe that has laws, just like the law of gravity, the law of attraction, the law of karma, the law of dharma. These are real laws. And if we live out of alignment with them, we suffer. And that teaches us a lesson to go back into alignment. So suffering is just there to teach us a lesson. Let's return to dharma. If we live in dharma, we don't have suffering. So are we going to learn the laws of dharma so we actually understand what's going on here? Like if you're playing a game, if you play it the wrong way, you get penalties and you get kicked off the field, it's a problem. If you learn how to play it well, you can win, and it's great, and everything's fantastic. Most people don't have the slightest idea what these laws are. You see, the world is distracting magazines and latest nonsense and gossip. How many people are thinking about what are the laws of Dharma? What are the laws of the world? This is really important stuff, and it's not in the news anywhere. So we have to go out of our way to learn these important things. And I'm very grateful that I've actually invested 15 years of my life in learning this stuff, because now I can share it with you. And once we know, all right, here's kind of how the universe works, and this is what good karma is, and we tune into our own selves, our own truth. This isn't some theory. You can test it out yourself in your own life. One is theory, the other is how does this apply in real life? So you apply it in real life. What happens? What's the effect? What's going on when you do this? You start to feel the difference. That's why I love coaching people one-on-one, because I can get them to just tune a little thing differently. And all of a sudden, I was chatting to someone today, and he said he was going into work, and he just felt joy for no reason. He just went in there, and he was just like, I don't know what's going on. I just feel really good. And it was unusual, because he's normally feeling that drained energy and that kind of, I don't want to be here. And he was just feeling happy for no reason. That's because he's living his dharma. So what are the laws of the universe? Then what is your own dharma? What is your personal dharma? What are you here to do? How can you live in alignment with the laws of the universe in your own life in such a way that you feel fulfilled, that you feel powerful, that you feel that you are on point, that your life has meaning, and that you had really spent your day in the most powerful, effective, enjoyable, meaningful way. So you go to sleep at night going, gosh, I had a really, really great day and I'm looking forward to waking up tomorrow and doing it all again. That's what it means to live your Dharma. When you get really clear and honest and you start doing those things, feeling changes, that hole starts to disappear. You start to feel full rather than this hole that you have to fill up with all this crap to try and get it away. You eat too much food and whatever else to try and stuff it down. Actually feel good. And then actually take action, take action practically, not theoretically, not abstract, in real life. What changes do you need to make? What things do you need to do differently in your life? Maybe people you need to spend more time with and other things you need to do less of or completely remove. And an extremely important one is your relationship with God, with the light. A lot of people don't like the word God, all sorts of negative connotations. I remember I didn't like the word God, it's just a word. But there is a being of divine peace. And when we start to open ourselves to that energy, then our life changes. It's as if we have an aura around us. We have a subtle protection. We become aware of our immortality. We become aware of our true nature. And that's when life truly gets magical. We start to purify, we start to let go, we start to reduce that negative karma and increase that positive karma with this spiritual energy. The soul needs spiritual power to fill itself up. We can't fill up the power of the soul by eating superfoods. We can't fill up the power of the soul by doing yoga and going into nature. That's all great, I love all those things, but the spiritual being that we are needs spiritual power, and it's a different thing completely from everything in the world. It's beyond the world. That is the essential thing that changes everything. Without that, we've got nothing. We're just running around patching things up. Band-aids, band-aids, band-aids. Superfoods might make me feel good physically. They're not going to purify my soul. I still love them. They're great. Doing yoga, it's fantastic, makes me feel good. If I tune into a spiritual power doing yoga, that's great. But if it's just yoga for the sake of it, for the body, it doesn't mean anything. So many therapies and teachings don't get that spiritual power, and you can't replace it with anything else. I've tried all sorts of things, but there's nothing like the eternal power where you're completely free, completely detached, completely beyond, where you see life in its true perspective, where you're in a different state of consciousness completely and entirely. It's a very different world. And that is the way we're actually designed to live, where we're free. We're not bondage, we're not stressed, we're not worried about all this stuff. We're actually free and enjoy. That's what happens when you live your Dharma. That's the thing that nourishes me more than anything else. If I haven't got that, my life's a mess. If I have got that, I don't care what's going on because everything's going to be fantastic and it always works out. This is the secret, and very few people talk about it. Very few people are into it for some reason. So, pay attention to your feelings. How do you feel? When you look at that hole and you feel that negativity, don't try and stuff it and distract yourself and pretend it's not there. Acknowledge it. Listen. What is your pain telling you? What is your bank account telling you? What are your relationships telling you? Where are the messages? Listen. And then what do you need to do to change? What do you need to do to learn to be aligned with Dharma? What do you need to do that's different? Because if you do the same thing, you'll get the same results. What needs to change? When do you need to change? And how are you going to change? So I'm here to help you. I've got all sorts of audios and videos and programs and courses and coaching and mentoring and all sorts of things. But it comes from you. Make that decision in yourself. Look at your life, look at your karma. Your life is your karma. look at your world, tune into your dreams, and choose the way you want to live your life. Make a choice. Choose what's important. Only you can do it. It's your destiny. It's your karma. It's your reality. It's your future. What do you want it to be like? When you're there on your deathbed looking back, what do you want to feel? What do you want to see? Who do you want to be there with you?